Hello there, thank you very much for watching. My name's Lee Cunningham from UID.me, the UK's leading emergency ID and alert service. So I've been talking recently about child ID, emergency ID and alerts and one thing or another, and I've been doing some research as ever, and I've come across this article on Mumsnet, which I thought, well, this is some of this is really good information and some of it I don't agree with. So I want to go through that, but I'm going to do it over 3 short videos. The reason for that is because one of them, specifically on what we should teach our child to do in the event that they become separated, is a video in itself. And there's some really good information which is not in this article. But more, just a little bit more about UID.me. One of the things that that sparked all this research off is, the fact that we have sold more of these things, these child ID wristbands, and that are coupled up with the UID.me service this year than ever before. People, as they travel to busy places, holiday destinations, through airports and train stations, and and then eventually, going to busy towns and villages and beaches. Obviously, the opportunities for distraction, becoming separated, and having a lost child are they're higher than ever with more people traveling. So in this video, I'm going to just go through just 1 or 2 really important things that's mentioned in the Mumsnet article, which I think is great for slightly older children. And then I'll also just go through some of the kind of common sense tips, which I've kind of highlighted, which I think are a good idea as well. The other video about what children should do if they get lost, please do check that out and share it as well, because it is so you've got to watch it. You just got to watch it, because it could be the difference between like seconds, being reunited with your child in seconds, and a really lengthy, drawn out, horrendous ordeal, which of course nobody wants, and we certainly don't want that for you. So back to the article. Talks about, we can all remember a time when we perhaps we became separated from our parents or our guardians or someone that we loved, and how incredibly frightening that is for not just us but for them too. Oftentimes, you might see a child reunited with his mother, and the mother is so kind of anxious and stressed with the situation, she tells the child off. The article says it's not a great idea to tell your child off in that situation, and because they're scared too, which I do agree with. Talking to your children about getting lost, obviously they need to be a certain age and have a certain level of understanding, and so it's really kind of age specific. So he talks about some of the basic things that children should know, and that we should teach them from as young an age as possible. My daughter's currently 17 months old, so a little bit young to be remembering her name and address and a contact number, but that certainly is a great idea. If you can get your child to, by rote, just recite the name, address and telephone number from as younger age as possible, that would be really helpful, wouldn't it, in the event of an emergency where they become separated from you. And children tend to remember things easier than us. I do remember my father's first kind of landline number, and look at the age of me now, and I still remember it. I won't give it you just in case it belongs to somebody else now. So another thing is, it's really important for your child to know where they can get help and who to approach. I paused slightly in a previous video on this because I said that it was a subjective thing. Should a child approach a man or a woman? And I thought that was maybe it's subjective, and it's maybe up to you to obviously tell your children. I'm now firmly in the camp that we should teach our children to approach a female and someone that's got their own children, a mother, in other words. And the reason for that is, as quoted in another video that I saw, Men, whilst not all men are predators, most predators, a very high percentage, are men. So unfortunately, that's them are the facts, and so the safest option is to try to direct or teach your children to approach a female. Obviously, uniformed people as well. So that could be preferably, a police man or woman, someone in a uniform such as a security officer, or maybe it's an employee of a shop or an organisation such as Disney World or a restaurant, a waitress or whatever. But these are the things we really need them kind of conversations with our child to educate them about that. One thing that I think is really brilliant about this article is it sent me on a search for a video. Now there was an organisation called childseyemedia.com, and they had a video about a little girl called Tegan who got lost, became separated from her mother in a supermarket. Now the website is not taken down now, but unfortunately the kind of directors of that organisation have both passed away. But you can still access the video on YouTube. If you look in the notes beneath this video, then I'll put a link to it in there, and have a look at that. It's absolutely brilliant. It's about 6 or 7 minutes. It's designed for children, so you can watch it with your child, and they can see the short story, and they end up talking to some children end up talking to a policewoman who kind of goes through it and reinforces some of the decisions and asks lots of questions. It's really, really good. It's really worth sitting down with your child watching that. So that's it for the kind of like the high level stuff, and that's obviously aimed at slightly older children. So it's about knowing the kind of name, address and telephone number, and it's knowing that in the event they become separated, who is a safe stranger and where to find them. That said, I want you to look at the other video, because what we should be telling our children to do, I found some research from a guy called Jonathan Turbox, and he is a doctor in America that helps autistic children, and some of the training and the education that they're giving to children with autism is absolutely second to none. It's an idea which easily crosses over to any child. It doesn't need to be a child with a medical condition. Any child, for them to become lost or separated from the parents, this is the winner. I mean, we do sell these, and they are brilliant, and I am a complete advocate for the service, because it alerts the mobile phones and one thing or another. But you got to watch this other video, because there is a tip there that can absolutely dwarf the difference in time between the child being missing and being reunited. It's winning, I tell you, and I can't believe that it's not been shared as much as it has done. So you got to watch that. Have a look at that. I'm just going to go through, because I think it's valuable, some tips that I think as parents, these are common sense things, but I think they're great ideas anyway. So, dressing your child in bright clothing if you go into somewhere busy, and perhaps using name tags. So these are the things that you can have embroidered, ironed, or printed actually, and you can iron them into the inside of the clothing, or sew them. Taking a photograph. We've all got mobile phones, smartphones. Taking a photograph of your child just as you're leaving the house, so you know exactly what they're wearing, because believe me, if your child goes missing, you go into panic mode. You may not be able to actually think what they were wearing. At least if you've got a very recent photograph on your phone, you can share that with security, police, etc. And that's a really good idea. Obviously, I'm going to say consider some kind of ID tag. I love the Vital ID brand. I also absolutely love what we've done with UID Me, because coupling this up with our emergency ID and alert service, it's free. It's absolutely free. You just register the unique ID number that you get allocated with your ID product, and you can put all your emergency contact details. And In the event of an emergency, it's going to send an alert to your phone as soon as your child's ID profile is accessed, straight away within seconds. On top of that, if the first responder who's helping your child puts their name and contact number in, you're also going to get that information, so you can immediately phone them back. So it's a really good service. Being especially vigilant, easier said than done sometimes when we're really distracted, but in really, those places that afford a perpetrator or a potential perpetrator a quick getaway. So talks here, some really specific examples. Motorway service stations, of course. You just don't want to lose your vision of your child for a second in a place like a service station, do you? So keeping your child close to you, preferably on range, and certainly as an absolute minimum holding hands. Same goes for airports, with so much going on, such as checking in your luggage and changing your currency, keeping track of your passports and your tickets and checking the flight times and one thing and another. Very easy to get out of your seat for a second and check the flight times and then look round and your child's not there. How horrific would that be? So that's pretty much it. There's loads more information in this article. I'll drop a link to it. It's a good article. I just don't agree with some of the other information, but to find out why, please do watch the other video. That's all about what to teach your child to do if they become lost. And I've gone on long enough in this video, but you've got to watch it. You've absolutely got to watch it, because it can mean the difference in really miniaturizing that time down to seconds rather than it going on into minutes. Thank you very much for watching. If this video has been helpful at all, please hit the thumbs up, hit the like, share it with other parents, share it on your Facebook, on your Twitter account and whatever, and that will be it's really helpful to me. It's helpful to you, ID me, but more importantly, it's really helpful to other parents and especially to other children. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.